There are few things as satisfying in a movie as a great plot twist. Everything clicks into place and it feels like the laws of physics are being rewritten just to delight you. But in some movies, the twist is so good and so big that it ends up overshadowing the movie itself. That's what happened with The Sixth Sense, which I think is a shame because it's a really good movie and the plot twist is much more than a gimmick. The twist is integral to the story that the movie is telling about its characters. In this video, I'm going to take a close look at how The Sixth Sense approached its twist. I want to see what M. Night Shyamalan was doing with the story and what lessons and warnings screenwriters and filmmakers can draw from it. It shouldn't be a plot twist for me to reveal that this video is going to have spoilers. But if you somehow stumbled into it and don't know how The Sixth Sense ends, consider yourself warned. So of course the big twist I'm talking about is at the end of the film when Dr. Malcolm Crowe, played by Bruce Willis, realizes that he actually died at the beginning of the movie. And that's kind of what people remember about The Sixth Sense. He's been dead the whole time. But we need a little more context than that to understand what's really going on here. The movie starts with Malcolm and his wife Anna celebrating an award that Malcolm's received from the mayor for helping children, which Anna says is the thing he cares about most in the world. Even she comes second to that.
You have put everything second, including me, for those families that they're talking about.
Their celebrations are cut short when they're confronted by Vincent, a disturbed man who was Malcolm's patient as a child. Vincent says that Malcolm failed him, which is key to understanding this whole movie.
You failed me!
The thing Malcolm cares most about is helping kids, and he failed to help this kid. Vincent shoots him, but we think Malcolm survived because we still see him walking around doing stuff. And the main thing he's doing is trying to help Cole, played by Haley Joel Osment. Cole has the same problems that Vincent had, so if Malcolm can help Cole, it's like he helped Vincent. It's Malcolm's path to redemption. And Malcolm does help Cole. Cole is being haunted by dead people, and Malcolm helps him realize that the dead people aren't trying to hurt him, they're coming to Cole for help.
They just want help, even the scary ones. And I think I might know a way to make them go away.
How?
Listen to them.
Then in the end, Malcolm realizes that he himself has been dead the whole time. He's actually one of those dead people coming to Cole for help. The reason I went back through the story like that is because I think the first lesson of The Sixth Sense is that the plot twist is not about the plot. Obviously, it involves the plot, hence plot twist, but it's not about the plot. It's about the characters' stories. I'm not going to get into a plot versus story debate, but with plot, I mean the events as they actually happened, and with story, I mean what the characters went through and how they changed. The plot twist is integral to the journey that Malcolm goes on through the story. At the end, he tells his wife, "I think I can go now. I just needed to do a couple of things."
Needed to help someone. I think I did.
He wasn't sticking around after he died just because the story needed a plot twist. He needed redemption for failing to help Vincent.
You were never second. I love you.
He also needed redemption for making Anna feel like she came second to his work. It ties the story together and gives us a sense of closure. Yeah, you could have a twist that's just about the plot like Scooby-Doo or something, but the emotional aspect is what elevates this into something special. You can also think of this emotional layer as an insurance policy, because yeah, you can poke holes in The Sixth Sense just like you can poke holes in most movies with a big plot twist. But if there's a satisfying emotional story, the audience won't want to poke holes. Plot twist: I don't want you to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. No, that's a lie. Please do those things. Another thing to note about the plot twist in The Sixth Sense is there isn't just one plot twist, but we should probably define what a plot twist is. My definition of a plot twist is a reveal that changes an audience's perception of what has occurred. Obviously, the twist at the end does this, but there's also a big one in the middle when Cole says,
I see dead people.
That's a twist. It changes how the audience perceives what's happened so far, but this twist also shows the second thing that plot twists can do. The first thing they can do is reframe the story that happened before the twist, but the second thing they can do is drive the story forward. The back half of the movie is set up by that twist. It gives us the question, what do the dead people want from Cole? Finding the answer to that question drives the story in the second half of the movie. There's a lesson here for screenwriters. Don't just use twists to reframe the story that's happened before. Also use them in the middle to change the audience's perception of what this movie is and drive the story forward. As I was rewatching The Sixth Sense, I was struck by the fact that for a movie that's become synonymous with plot twists, it doesn't actually depend on the big twist at the end to function as a movie. It needs the twist in the middle to function as a movie, Cole revealing he sees dead people, but not the twist at the end. For most of the film, it portrays itself as a story about a child psychologist trying to help a troubled kid who's revealed to see dead people, And it could just be that. That could be the whole movie. In fact, in early drafts of the script, it was just that. M. Night Shyamalan didn't add the big twist at the end until later drafts. I'm not saying the movie would have been as good without the big plot twist, but it still would have been a full movie with a pretty cool story. The big twist at the end was just the cherry on top. I think a lot of times screenwriters run into trouble because they make the entire movie dependent on the plot twist to work. It risks becoming a one-trick pony. Now, you can do that. There are great movies that don't work without the big twist at the end, like The Prestige, because those movies have been set up as big mysteries with a mind-blowing answer at the end. But if you're promising a mind-blowing answer, then you gotta deliver it. You're raising the audience's expectations and cannot disappoint. On the other hand, The Sixth Sense lets the surprise sneak up on the audience a little bit. It's unexpected, which helps make it feel so astonishing. Speaking of the surprise sneaking up on the audience, you can't talk about plot twists without talking about foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is giving the audience glimpses of the plot twist without giving away the whole thing. It's important for a few reasons. First, foreshadowing makes the twist feel intentional. You didn't just randomly throw it in at the end. You had a vision. Second, foreshadowing builds anticipation. The audience knows something is going on, and they get excited to find out what. And finally, the anticipation leads to a feeling of satisfaction when the twist is finally revealed. The Sixth Sense is full of foreshadowing. Some of it we actively noticed, like when Malcolm keeps trying to open a locked door, or when the temperature drops. And some of it we might not consciously notice, but your brain feels that something's off, like when Malcolm doesn't interact directly with anyone besides Cole. You understand that something weird is going on, but you can't put your finger on it. And that need to understand drives you to keep watching. Foreshadowing a plot twist is important, but it's not easy. Too little and the audience won't be intrigued. Too much and you give the twist away. Plus, if you're obsessing over the foreshadowing, you're at risk of the story being driven by the plot twist and not by the characters. That can make it feel mechanical. So how do you foreshadow effectively? The answer isn't to measure out the perfect amount. It's to control the questions your audience is asking about the story. Make them wonder about something other than what your plot twist is. Make them think that that question is the point. The audience will then try to connect the breadcrumbs you leave to that question. You don't have to worry so much about giving away the twist, so you can put your attention where it should be, on the story. In The Sixth Sense, the audience isn't wondering if Malcolm is dead. Most of the questions they're asking aren't even about Malcolm. They're about Cole. In the first half of the movie, the big question is what's wrong with Cole? And in the second half of the movie, the big question is what did the dead want with Cole? These are great questions. They're compelling enough to engage the audience, so that's what they're thinking about. They're not trying to solve the mystery of Malcolm. The biggest questions about Malcolm are, will he be able to help this kid and redeem himself? And is he going to lose his wife? In some ways, you can think of these questions as misdirection because they're keeping the audience off the scent of the twist. But just because they're misdirection doesn't make them unimportant. This is where it gets a bit tricky because you still have to answer those questions and make the answers related to the twist, or else the audience is going to feel betrayed because you're the one who made the audience ask those questions in the first place. If you don't give good answers to the questions, the audience is going to feel you misled them and wasted their time. The "and" in that sentence is really important because to some extent you did mislead the audience. But if you make it worth their while, they'll love you for it. If you wasted their time, they'll hate you for it. So let's look back at the questions the audience is asking in the second half of the movie and see if they're related to the twist of Malcolm being dead the whole time. The first question was, what do the dead want with Cole? And the answer is, they want his help. Does that connect to Malcolm's big twist? Yes, because Cole had to help Malcolm find redemption so Malcolm could move on. Remember, Malcolm had to redeem himself for failing to help Vincent.
You failed me!
And Vincent and Cole were dealing with the same issue.
Some people, they call me freak.
Hey, you are not a freak.
So, by helping Cole, it was like Malcolm was finally helping Vincent. He found redemption.
I needed to help someone. I think I did.
The other question was, will Malcolm lose his wife? The answer is yes, because accepting his death means he's going to move on and lose her. This acceptance connects it directly to the twist. But losing his wife here at the end is actually a good thing for both of them. It gives him closure and completes his character arc, and it lets her move on with her life without him haunting her. So what's my big twist for you here at the end of the video? Well, you might be watching this thinking, man, this is going to be really hard to pull off. And I think the twist is, that's okay. That's what rewriting is for. I mentioned earlier that M. Night Shyamalan didn't add the big twist at the end until a later draft of The Sixth Sense, and I think it's worth bringing up again. Just because your script isn't working right now doesn't mean you can't keep working on it and eventually find the element that's going to put it over the top. I wish you luck on that journey, and I hope this video helps make it just a little easier. From all of us at ARC Studio, be kind to yourselves and happy writing.